Hello friends, in the previous lecture we have seen Fermat's theorem. It states that if P is a prime and P does not divide A, then A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P where A belongs to Z. Today we are going to see some examples on this Fermat theorem. So consider the first example. Find the remainder when 2 raised to 50 is divided by 7 using Fermat's theorem. So here P is equal to 7, which is prime, and the second condition is that P should not divide A. A is 2 and 7 does not divide 2. A is equal to 2 and 7 does not divide 2. That is, our condition or Fermat's theorem are satisfied. So using Fermat's theorem, A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. That is, A is 2, P minus 1, 7 minus 1, that is 6, is congruent to 1 modulo 7. Now we know 2 raised to 6 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. We want to find 2 raised to 50. So we will see which is the power of 2 which is closer to 50. Because we have 2 raised to 6, we will consider 2 raised to 6 raised to 8, so that it will be 48, nearer to 50. So we have 2 raised to 6 raised to 8 is congruent to 1 raised to 8 modulo 7. We search the power which is nearer to 50. Because it is 6 multiplied by 8 is 48 and 48 is very near to 50. So we take 2 raised to 48 is congruent to 1 raised to 8 is 1 modulo 7. We know 2 raised to 48. We want to go to 2 raised to 50. So we require 2 raised to 2 now. So consider 2 raised to 2. 2 raised to 2 is nothing but 4. And what is 4 congruent to modulo 7? Which is this number? This number is nothing but remainder when 4 is divided by 7. So if you divide 4 by 7, because 4 is smaller number, the division is of 0 and remainder is 4 itself. Because 4 is remainder, we write down here 4. So 4 is congruent to 4 modulo 7. This number is remainder when 4 is divided by 7. So we have 2 square is congruent to 4 modulo 7. This is our equation 2. And now multiply equation 1 and 2. So if you multiply equation 1 and 2, on LHS we have 2 raised to 48 into 2 raised to 2 is congruent to multiply 1 into 4. So it is 1 into 4 modulo 7. 1 into 4 is 4. So it is 4 modulo 7, and 2 raised to 48 into 2 raised to 2, by laws of indices it gets added, become 2 raised to 50. So 2 raised to 50 is congruent to 4 modulo 7, means that the remainder is 4. Therefore 2 raised to 50 when divided by 7, the remainder is 4. 4 is the remainder when 2 raised to 50 is divided by 7. Consider the next example. Using Fermat's theorem, find the remainder when 41 raised to 65 is divided by 7. So we want to use Fermat's theorem. So what is prime here? Prime is 7. So here P is equal to 7 is prime. And A is nothing but 41. A is equal to 41. And P does not divide A. That is 7 does not divide 41. So we can apply Fermat's theorem. So by Fermat's theorem, A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. A raised to P minus 1, A is 41, P is 7, 7 minus 1 that is 6 congruent to 1 modulo 7. So 41 raised to 6 is congruent to 1 modulo 7. We want to go to 41 raised to 65. So search a power of 6 which is nearer to 65. So 41 raised to 6 which is the multiple 6, 10. So 6 into 10 is 60 and 60 is nearer to 65. So this is the largest multiple of 6 which is nearer to 65. So it is congruent to 1 raised to 10. We take on both sides raised to 10. So this gives us 41 raised to 60 is congruent to 1 raised to 10 that is 1 modulo 7. Now 41 raised to 60 we get. We want 41 raised to 65. So now we want 41 raised to 5. But we don't know 41 raised to 5. So we start with simple one. Consider 41. 41 is congruent to what modulo 7? That is we want to find the remainder when 41 is divided by 7. When you divide 41 by 7, we get the remainder to be 6. So this is congruent to 6 modulo 7. 6 is the remainder when 41 is divided by 7. Therefore, remainder is 6. Now see, 6 is congruent to minus 1. So instead of taking powers of 6, it is easy to write down 6 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 7. Because we know that 6 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 7. So a number 6, instead of taking powers of 6, it is easy to take powers of minus 1. So I will write down 41 is congruent to minus 1 mod 7 and now take raised to 5 on both sides. So 41 raised to 5 is congruent to minus 1 raised to 5 modulo 7. That is 41 raised to 5 is congruent to minus 1 raised to 5 is minus 1 modulo 7. And what is minus 1 congruent to? Minus 1 congruent to 6 modulo 7. Minus 1 is congruent to 6 modulo 7. So we have 41 raised to 5 is congruent to 6 modulo. Now multiply equations 1 and 2. 1 is 41 raised to 60 and into 41 raised to 5. So 41 raised to 60 into 41 raised to 5 is congruent to 1 into 6 modulo 7. 1 into 6 is nothing but 6. So 6 modulo 7 41 raised to 65 is congruent to 6 modulo 7. This implies that 41 raised to 65 when divided by 7, the remainder is 6. Consider the next example. Find the remainder when 4 raised to 37 plus 82 is divided by 7 using Fermat's theorem. So consider example. See here, prime is 7. P is equal to 7 is a prime. We will firstly find the remainder when 4 raised to 37 is divided by 7. A is equal to 4 and P does not divide A. That is 7 does not divide 4. So we can apply Fermat's theorem. So by Fermat's theorem, A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. That is 4 raised to 7 minus 1, 6, congruent to 1 modulo 7. Now we want the power of 4 to be 37. So find a multiple of 6 which is nearer to 37. Multiple of 6 nearer to 37 is 6. So 4 raised to 6 raised to 6, because 6 into 6, 36, which is nearer to 37. So we take on both sides power 6 modulo 7, and therefore 4 raised to 36 is congruent to 1 raised to 6 is 1 modulo 7. We want the power 4 raised to 37. So only remains one power of 4. So consider 4. 4 is congruent to modulo 7. So what is this number? This is the remainder when 4 is divided by 7. But when you divide 4 by 7, the quotient is 0 and the remainder is 4 itself. So this is 4 is congruent to 4 modulo 7. This is number 2. Now multiply equations 1 and 2. And therefore 4 raised to 36 into 4 raised to 1 is congruent to 1 into 4 modulo 7. Therefore 4 raised to 37 is congruent to 4 modulo 7. We get the first result, that 4 raised to 37. Now we will find 82 when divided by 7. What is the remainder? Now 82 is congruent to what modulo 7? That is, when you divide 82 by 7, if you divide 82 by 7, we get 7, 1. The remainder is 5. So we have remainder to be 5. As the remainder is 5, this is our second equation and we want to add these equations. So add equations first and second. So we get 4 raised to 37 plus 82 is congruent to 4 plus 5 modulo 7. 4 plus 5 is 9 modulo 7. So 4 raised to 37 plus 82 is congruent to 9 modulo 7. But because this is remainder, it should be less than 7 and therefore we again divide 9 by 7, the remainder is 2. This is remainder, so it should be less than 7. So we divide 9 by 7, the remainder is 2. 9 is congruent to 2 modulo 7. So we write down 4 raised to 37 plus 82 is congruent to 2 modulo 7, and therefore the remainder when 4 raised to 37 plus 82 is divided by 7 is 2. The remainder comes to be 2. Consider the next example. Find the remainder when 8 raised to 401 is divided by 13 using Fermat's theorem. So observe here, the prime number P is equal to 13. 13 is a prime, and A is equal to 8, and P does not divide A. That is, 13 does not divide 8, and therefore Fermat's theorem is applicable. So by Fermat's theorem, A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. A is nothing but 8. P minus 1, 13 minus 1, that is 12. It is congruent to 1 modulo P. P is 13. We get 8 raised to 12. We want 8 raised to 401. So, we find the multiple of 12 which is very nearer to 401. So, find the multiple of 12 nearer to 401. So, if you divide 401 by 12, we get the answer to be 33 point something. So, we take that 33 congruent to 1 raised to 33 modulo 13. This means that 8 raised to 396 is congruent to 1 raised to 33, that is 1 modulo 13. So in the first we get 8 raised to 396. We want 8 raised to 401. So now we want 8 raised to 5 power. Remains 5 after 396. If you add 5, we get 8 raised to 401. But we don't know 8 raised to 5 directly. So we will split that. We will suppose consider 8 square first. 8 square is 64. So 64 is congruent to what modulo 13. So divide 64 by 13. What is the remainder? Remainder is 12 because 13 fours are 52 and therefore remainder is 12. But see, 12 is very nearer to 13. So instead of taking 12 as it is a bigger number, we will take 12 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 13. We know that 12 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 13. So whenever the remainder is very nearer to this P, it is easy to take the number negative which is congruent to. So 12 is congruent to minus 1 modulo 13 and therefore 8 square is congruent to minus 1 modulo 13. Take square on both sides. So 8 square square is congruent to minus 1 square. We are taking square on both sides and therefore 8 raised to 4 is congruent to 1 modulo 13. This is second result. We have 8 raised to 396. We have 8 raised to 4. So total becomes 8 raised to 400. we want 401. So only we require 1 power. So consider lastly 8 raised to 1. 8 raised to 1 is nothing but 8, and 8 is congruent to what? Modulo 13. That is divide 8 by 13. But because 8 is less than 13, the remainder is 8 itself. That is when you divide 8 by 13, the remainder is 8. This is equation 3. And now multiply equations 1, 2 and 3. We have 8 raised to 396 into 8 raised to 4 into 8 raised to 1 is congruent to 1 into 8 modulo 13. That is congruent to 8 modulo 13. So 8 raised to 401 congruent to 8 modulo 13 means that remainder is 8. When 8 raised to 401 is divided by 13. See the next example. Using Fermat's theorem, show that 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 is divisible by 11. We want to use Fermat's theorem to show that 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 is divisible by 11. So we'll consider P prime to be 11. So P is equal to 11, it is prime. Observe that if you take A is equal to 7, P does not divide A. That is 11 does not divide 7. So in the first case, we have A raised to P minus 1 congruent to 1 mod P by Fermat's theorem. So A is 7. P is 11. So 11 minus 1 that is 10 congruent to 1 modulo 11. So 7 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. Now instead of A to be 7, consider A to be 5. If A is equal to 5, P does not divide A because 11 does not divide 5. So again use Fermat's theorem. So we get here by Fermat's theorem A raised to P minus 1, that is 5 raised to P minus 1, that is 11 minus 1, 10, congruent to 1 modulo 11. So 5 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11. This is equation second. Now by equation 1, because 7 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 modulo 11, this implies that 7 raised to 10, so 1 and 2 implies that 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10. If you subtract these two equations, 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 is congruent to 1 minus 1 modulo 11. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 is congruent to 0 modulo 11. This means that when you divide 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 by 11, the remainder is 0. And the remainder is 0 means that 11 divides this whole number 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10. So this implies that 0 is the remainder. So this implies that 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 when divided by 11, the remainder is 0. And when we say that the remainder is 0, therefore 7 raised to 10 minus 5 raised to 10 is divisible by 11. Consider the next example. Find units digit of 3 raised to 100 using Fermat's theorem. So how we get units digit? When we divide 3 raised to 100 by 10, whatever may be the remainder, that will be units digit of 3 raised to 100. So we want to find the remainder when 3 raised to 100 is divided by 10. So consider now we have 3 is always congruent to 1 modulo 2. Because 2 divides 3 minus 1, that is 2. So 3 is congruent to 1 modulo 2. Take raised to 100 on both sides. So 3 raised to 100 is congruent to 1 raised to 100 modulo 2. This implies that 3 raised to 100 is congruent to 1 modulo 2. This means that 2 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1 by definition of congruence. A is congruent to B mod n if n divides A minus B. So 2 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1. Now we consider next prime 5 because we want when divided by 10 and factors of 10 are 2 and 5. We have 2. Now we will check for 5. So that 5 into 2 becomes 10. So now take P is equal to 5 prime and A is equal to 3. P does not divide A because 5 does not divide 3. So we use Fermat's theorem. What is Fermat's theorem? A raised to P minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo P. A is 3. 3 raised to 4 is congruent to 1 modulo 5. This implies that 3 raised to 4 raised to 25. We want to go to 3 raised to 100. So we will take the multiple to be 25 of 4. It gives 100. It's congruent to 1 raised to 25 modulo 5. This implies that 3 raised to 100 is congruent to 1 modulo 5. This implies that 5 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1 by definition of congruence. Equation second. Now GCD of 2 and 5, it is 1. Because 2 and 5 are relatively prime or their GCD is 1 and 2 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1, 5 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1. So by 1 and 2 we have 2 into 5 also divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1, that is 10 divides 3 raised to 100 minus 1. So by definition of congruence, 3 raised to 100 is congruent to 1 modulo 10. This means that 3 raised to 100 when divided by 10, the remainder is 1. And because 1 is the remainder when 3 raised to 100 is divided by 10, this implies that the units digit of 3 raised to 100 is 1. Because the units digit is nothing but the remainder when the number is divided by 10. So 3 raised to 100 when divided by 10, the remainder is 1, implies that the units digit of 3 raised to 100 is 1. Consider the next example. If GCD of A and 35 is 1, show that A raised to 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 35. So it is given that GCD of A and 35 is 1. We see the factors of 35. We have 35 is equal to 5 into 7. And because GCD of A and 35 is 1, this implies that 7 does not divide A and 5 also does not divide A, because 35 is nothing but 5 into 7, and we know that the GCD of A and 35 is 1. So they are relatively prime. So obviously 7 does not divide A and 5 also does not divide A. So taking P to be 7, that is prime to be 7, we have Fermat's theorem, and Fermat's theorem says that A raised to P minus 1, P is 7, so 7 minus 1 is 6, A raised to 6 is congruent to 1 modulo P, P is 7. And using here, because P is prime, that is 5, and A raised to P minus 1, P is 5, 5 minus 1 is 4, it is congruent to 1 modulo P, here P is 5. So this implies that 7 divides A raised to 6 minus 1 using definition of congruence. A is congruent to B mod n if n divides A minus B. So 7 divides A raised to 6 minus 1, and here 5 divides A raised to 4 minus 1. Now we want to prove that 35 divides A raised to 12 minus 1, because we want to show that A raised to 12 is congruent to 1 mod 35. So we must prove that 35 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. So consider A raised to 12 minus 1. A raised to 12 minus 1 can be written as A raised to 6 minus 1 into A raised to 6 plus 1. So this implies that A raised to 6 minus 1 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. Now see this first and third. So from first and third combine and using transitivity, Seven divides A raised to 6 minus 1, and A raised to 6 minus 1 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. So this implies that 7 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. Also, A raised to 12 minus 1 can be written as A raised to 4 minus 1 into A raised to 8 plus A raised to 4 plus 1. So A raised to 12 minus 1 can be factored in this way. This implies that A raised to 4 minus 1 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. Now use second, fourth and transitivity. Use second, fourth and transitivity. U divides A raised to 4 minus 1, and A raised to 4 minus 1 divides A raised to 12 minus 1. So by transitivity, U divides A raised to 12 minus 1. So 7 divides A raised to 12 minus 1, 5 divides A raised to 12 minus 1, and GCD of 5 and 7 is 1. But GCD of 5 and 7 is 1. So by using A and B, we have 5 into 7 also divides A raised to 12 minus 1. 5 into 7 is 35. So 35 divides A raised to 12 minus 1, means that A raised to 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 35. we want to prove the same, that a raised to 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 35. So we have used Fermat's theorem, property of divisibility and transitivity to show that a raised to 12 is congruent to 1 modulo 35. Example, if 7 does not divide a, then show that either a cube plus 1 or a cube minus 1 is divisible by 7. So it is given that 7 does not divide a and 7 is a prime. And it is given that 7 does not divide a. So use Fermat's theorem. By Fermat's theorem, a raised to p minus 1 is congruent to 1 modulo p. Here a, p minus 1, 7 minus 1, that is 6, is congruent to 1 modulo 7. This implies that 7 divides a raised to 6 minus 1. By definition of congruence, a is congruent to b mod n if n divides a minus b. So 7 divides a raised to 6 minus 1. But what are the factors of a raised to 6 minus 1? That is a cube minus 1 into a cube plus 1. So 7 divides a cube minus 1 into a cube plus 1. But 7 is a prime and we know Euclid's lemma. By Euclid's lemma, if p is a prime and p divides ab, this implies that either p divides a or p divides b. So here 7 is prime and 7 divides a cube minus 1 into a cube plus 1. So this implies that either 7 divides a cube minus 1 or 7 divides a cube plus 1 by Euclid's lemma. This means that either a cube minus 1 or a cube plus 1 is divisible by 7. So see that Fermat's theorem is applicable in finding the remainder or units digit, etc. So it's very useful theorem in mathematics. Enough for the day. Thank you.